Did Ty Harris, did she practice today?
She sure did.
Fully?
Yep. She's in there mixing it up, easing her back in, but full contact, went live against ourselves and against guys, so and responded well.
What were some of the focuses that the team had today?
Yeah, just continuing to talk about not getting ahead of ourselves and not skipping any steps. So really focusing in on our fundamentals, our anchors on both sides of the ball, so that we can get really great in those areas, and then we can continue to add and build and get more complex.
I'm just going back to Ty real quick. I know she, of course, this is her first day practicing with the team, but just talk about just some of the ways you want to incorporate her into your offense.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's been great on the sideline. She's super high IQ, so just, you wouldn't have noticed that she hasn't practiced with us yet, because she's just that smart of a player and can absorb things. She brings a calming presence to everybody, and she can fill lots of gaps. So, is comfortable playing off the ball, can dominate the ball and get us into stuff. And if things get a little wacky, she, again, can just bring everyone together, chill, we're good. So we're excited to have her back.
Probably too early to really define if she's a starter or not. Looking at Teaira McCowan, what do you envision her role being on this team?
Yeah, we need T. We need T to continue to put pressure on the defense by running hard in transition and just being that presence that she is on the block and in the paint. And we've got to help her as well. So she's got to help herself, and then we've got to help her as well and put her in positions where she can succeed. But I know teams don't like seeing her out there. She is a matchup problem. She is tough to guard. So we've got to find that balance of challenging her to give a little, and then also helping her and putting her in positions to find success.
As the coach, how do you kind of navigate having to play roster down this much talent on the team?
It's hard. These last cuts aren't going to be easy. Lots of conversations with our GM group, just determining, what the roster is going to look like, and those, 9, 10, 11, 12, what they can add and what they can bring to our culture. It's in such a foundational year, so you balance the on-court with some of the intangibles, and you got to look at it holistically.
Going back to the lineup, I'm not going to give anything away, obviously, but do you envision yourself being a coach who will be versatile, like going small ball and then big ball starting lineups throughout the season?
Yeah, we're going to explore lots of different ways to play, and there's something about a rhythm that players like understanding if they're starting, around what time in the game they're coming in. So there's a balance, right, of giving them some predictability, but also as a staff having some flexibility to be able to respond to what's happening in the game and throw different combinations out there.
Something I'm curious about, what are some of the roles of your assistant coaches? Is there anyone responsible for offense, defense, things of that nature?
Yeah, these are ever evolving. Again, this is our first time working together as a group. It's my first time managing a staff, so I'm not going to get it right off the bat. And I'm already feeling, through game one, feeling what I needed and already making adjustments. So, we've got really empowering Nola Henry to have a voice on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm going to look to continue to empower her in games, in huddles, in the film room on that side of the ball, so we have some balance. I found myself in those huddles not getting the defense a lot of the times and just focusing on the offensive side. So again, that is very fluid. And I love the rest of our staff. Just the amount of time and attention we're giving each and every player right now is great. And we'll work out, the final kind of roles and responsibilities. They'll all kind of work themselves out in time.
Speaking of those assistant coaches, you also have a few players that were high-level players themselves. Just how have they been able to help the younger players and other players that might be weak in some areas?
Our assistant coaches who were former players?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Like Camille?
Yes.
Yeah. Totally. It's just invaluable having somebody who's walked in their shoes, who's competed at the highest level and did it for a long time. She already commands their respect. And so to have somebody like Camille as a bridge to really, help relay the message. And then for me too, she can tell me here's what I feel. I've been there. I've been with them. I know what that locker room's like right now. I know how they're feeling after 2 days in a row going into it. She is adding tremendous value to the staff. She's making me better every single day and ultimately helping our players have a better experience.
I'm Japanese media. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
What's your impression of Mai Yamamoto?
Yeah, Mai has been fantastic in camp. She is extremely smart. I've been really impressed with how quickly she picks up concepts. She is in the right spots defensively, and then offensively, her vision. You've seen some of these passes. You saw one in the game, right? She was on our sideline in front of our bench and threw this hook pass to the opposite corner. Her vision is elite. She makes people around her better, and she's able to move the ball. So she's fit in quite well.
What are the takeaways from today's practice?
I think we had high energy today. We got after it, just went up and down a lot. I think we're finally putting the pieces together, and it's starting to look good for us.
Coach was saying that he kind of likes the small ball lineup. If you just start at 5, is that something you're prepared to do?
Of course. I mean, any position that they put me in, I'm gonna embrace my role and try to do it to the best of my ability. So I mean, scoring from the block is kind of what I do. So I think it wouldn't be that bad of an adjustment.
What advantages from a team standpoint does that bring, like defensive versatility and just the options offensively as well?
I think it just brings speed. We can get up and down the floor a lot more. We could switch a lot more on the defensive end. So I think it would be good for us if we embrace that a little bit. Good.
Okay, just talk about some of the quicker players like Mai and Teaira and just what they can bring on the offense.
I think they're doing great. I mean, you can't even tell that they're rookies. They're coming in and they're playing hard every day. Every time they're open, they're knocking down shots. So that's really what we need. So it's been good for them.
What have your impressions been of being a part of the organization so far? You haven't been here obviously for a long time, but just what are some of your thoughts so far just being part of the organization?
I think it's been great. I mean, I feel like they welcome me with open arms. The coaches are always trying to get in the gym and work on little things to get me to the best of my game. So I think it's been great. Even the staff, they're really good with helping us out for treatment and film and stuff like that. So it's been a great experience so far.
How's the development, with the friendly competition? I saw you guys shooting around,
yeah,
stuff like that. How does that help with just overall camaraderie and off and on the court?
I think we get after it. I mean, we all push each other to be the best we could be. So I feel like when you surround yourself with a group that all wants to be great, it's easy just to push each other to the best of our ability.
Last year, this was a team that really struggled on the defensive end. What do you think it'll take for you guys to be a good defensive team this year?
Well, our head coach really embraces defense. So with him leading the pack and just, emphasizing that and, correcting the little things on defense and always stopping and going, I think that's going to help us a lot.
So someone who obviously stands out defensively, Teaira, one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. Just what makes her such an impactful defender from your perspective?
I think just the will to want to play defense. A lot of people don't embrace defense, and she really embraces that. She knows that's what she's great at, so she always has high energy, and she wants to play defense. So I think that's what makes her a great defender.
Having played with Paige last season, what's so special about Paige in her own way that you've seen so far?
I think Paige she comes in and she's an impact, directly. Paige is going to come in and shoot the ball. She's going to come in and facilitate. She's going to make her team better. So, my experience with Paige so far has been great.
From the perspective of other teams having to guard the backcourt that you have, just what are some of the problems that you think it could pose from your perspective, just seeing a week and a half, 2 weeks of how this has been so far?
I think our pace is going to be hard to stop. We can get up and down the floor a lot. We're always looking to do the one more pass and rim run, so I think it'll be good for us.
What did you guys work on today?
A little bit of everything. Obviously, defense has been a big focus this week, but just being in the right spots offensively, just continuing to build the chemistry all together.
Last year was obviously a struggle on defense for the team. How do you think this team can take a step forward? Obviously, a lot of new players, but what will it take to take a step forward?
I just think a lot of versatility, just communication. I mean, obviously, we brought in a lot of high-level defenders. DJ is probably one of the best defenders in the league. So to have somebody like that, in your ear and in everyone's ear is huge. And I think, that'll be huge for us all year.
So what are some of the focuses that you had during the offseason when you were working on your game, and how did the athletes on the really help you in that?
Biggest focuses for me were just continuing to try to be more versatile. Just a lot of emphasis on three-point shooting, being able to, take more and make more, obviously, get it off a little quicker. And then Athletes Unlimited was great for me just to be able to play so many different players and positions and do a little bit of everything. And I think, that obviously to be able to win it gave me a lot of confidence and coming into the season and knowing, you're kind of doing the right things.
Do you feel like that can specifically help you playing maybe a little bit of small ball 4 when you guys are kind of going with small ball lineups? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think in AU I played 1 through 5, so a little bit of everything, and obviously being able to defend like Izzy Harrison a lot in AU, Crystal Bradford, like people who are like versatile at either 4-5s or 3-4s, or just give me a lot of different experience with that, and just being able to be in the right spots defensively as well.
I know a lot of people talk about the offensive presence of this team, but just talk about the defense and like what you've seen, like even in the post.
Yeah, I just think we're real long and quick. So I think, whenever you can be disruptive on defense, that obviously helps. And then, defense leads to offense, and who doesn't like to get out on a fast break? I know I do. So just trying to be as disruptive as we can.
Do you see your three-point attempts increasing this year with Paige running the point?
I hope so. Hopefully, 3-point attempts and makes, that would be good. Let's bring the percentage up a little bit. I'll be happy then.
Obviously, it takes some time getting used to like the tendencies of a passer. Just what have you learned so far about Paige from her approach and passing style?
Yeah, I mean, obviously she definitely finds people who are open. So it's been fun playing with her. Obviously, got to watch her a lot. Villanova, we only played a couple times, and then watching her the last couple years. But super excited that she's on our team, and she's a great player. So she's going to continue to grow as a player as well.